Again, this show is trying to blame the Jedi for the war.
Yeah, because this makes no sense. If you live in the Republic, you'd think Republic propaganda would be all that you hear. Why would the Republic propaganda be like, yeah, the Jedi started the war, what can we say? They'd be like, no, we're the Republic, we're just fighting to defend ourselves, and the good Jedi are helping us, and
exactly.
Right? Why would
and policing
the Republic,
everything? Since when are they policing everything? They can barely spend time to go down into the lower levels. That's why you should be pissed at them.
Like,
that's part of their job, and they're not doing it.
That the lower levels have their own, like, police. That's who, like, Ahsoka was running away from at the beginning of To Catch a Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, but now it's like, oh, you know, the Jedi are policing it. Well, she's kind of talking about up there, right? But I'm assuming they have, you know, the same police force. Yeah, it's not the Jedi policing everything. It's the Senate. I have a thing.
Thank you.
Gone with a Trace. Yay! The start of everyone's favorite arc.
Doesn't this usually get rated as, like, the worst TCW arc ever?
Yeah, that's why I said it's everyone's favorite arc. Very sarcastically.
I wonder if people would rate it below even, like, the droid arc.
I don't know if anyone even remembers that. If there's no path before you, create your own. Betrayal. The first words out of their betrayal! And, like, the shot they're showing is her choosing to walk away after they said, we will welcome you back. And I kind of get the impression that they were welcoming her back with the offer that she would become a Jedi Knight.
Yeah.
Because they said this was your trial and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. So they completely ignore the fact that she chose to leave. They make it sound like her leaving was them throwing her out. It's like, no, that happened earlier for very good reasons. And then they said, hey, your name is cleared now. And you went through all this stuff, so we welcome you back, and, we'll make you a Jedi Knight, right? Because you've proved yourself. And, no, betrayal! Because she chose to leave. Her choosing to leave was a betrayal, but they betrayed her!
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anakin Skywalker discovered the true villain was Ahsoka's close friend, Barriss Offee.
Close friend.
Unable to reconcile her relationship with the Jedi Order, Ahsoka decided to walk away.
Oh, okay. Now they show it again, and now they say she decided to walk away. And then, it says unable to reconcile her relationship with the Jedi Order. It's like, the Council didn't trust me because I broke out of prison and ran away and beat up clones and was found with, the bomb materials and everything like that. And I just can't reconcile that you guys could not understand that I was innocent after everything I did to make myself look more guilty. I can't understand that. And the Council doesn't trust me, and now I don't know if I can trust myself. And it's just, we've already talked about the narration and how it's just like, oh my goodness. And then, they start her off right away. It's like,
so many questions. What has she been doing this whole time? How the hell did she even afford that bike? Where'd she get the clothes?
Questions upon questions upon questions. Yeah, what is she doing? She's obviously not going to a job because she makes no comment about, like, oh shoot, I'm gonna be late or anything like that. So she's just flying around doing nothing so that her schedule's wide open for the plot to happen. So yeah, what has she been doing? How can she, afford, where's she been living? Just so many questions.
Sorry!
Oh, yeah, and that's never gonna come back to bite her. But the thing they're trying to show is, not only is it a fun action scene to start the thing, but it's like, oh, she's struggling so much in her new life, right? Like, things aren't working for her, and she's gotta, use this junky speeder, and blah, 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 blah. They're trying to frame her as down and out right now. But it's like, if she was down and out, how'd she afford the speeder in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't she walking around?
Why isn't she starving to death in a back alley somewhere?
Yeah.
She's clearly got no career. So,
That bike is trash. I don't know what I was thinking when I bought it.
she says that. Like, I don't know what I was thinking when I bought it. As if she can be picky and choosy about what she's buying. So clearly she has money to throw around.
Right. I never even thought about that, but that's a good point. If she was like, it was all that I could afford, like that sends a completely different tone, right? Like, I was forced into buying this because I needed something, but, this was the best I could get. No, instead it's like, I just made a bad decision in the moment. I could have gotten something better, but I didn't, and I don't know why.
So it's more of her own bad choices screwing her over.
But, yeah, given what she's had experience with, and again, she knows a thing or two about vehicles, so if she had the money, why would she make such a bad purchase? The answer is so that the plot could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't care about characterization, we just care about putting our characters into the plot we want.
Because it would have made more sense for her to kind of do what Trace did in order to build the Silver Angel, where you essentially just collect a bunch of parts over a certain period of time. Mm-hmm. And you assemble something yourself.
Yeah.
You make your own thing.
I don't know if they've
it's
established
probably
that
cheaper.
she's that good, but at the same time, they've established that she's pretty good. And again, that's one of those things that I would kind of infer that she,
skills.
kind of learned from Anakin, because Anakin could build stuff by himself, right? So it's like, I've always kind of inferred that she got her mechanical spills. She got her mechanical spill. She got her mechanical skills from Anakin, right? Like, that's one of those things that I will allow because, yeah, of course he would teach her that kind of thing.
Look at that outfit. That's a nice outfit.
Yeah, no, it's not patchy, it's not
afford
frayed,
this?
it's not, like, Trace, her clothes, like, they look kind of dirty and stuff like that, which makes sense because she's, working as a mechanic, but it's like, again, what is Ahsoka working as? Why aren't her clothes dirty? Again, what skills does she have? Basically, her Jedi abilities and her mechanical skills. That's all they gave her, right? They haven't established any other skills that she has. Why isn't she working as a mechanic? So why isn't she dirty like Trace? They're just ignoring the fact that she would need a way to make money to be able to live, right? Because there's lots of people in the underworld of Coruscant that are not doing so hot. So it's like, she's doing pretty hot. Mm-hmm. How? Why? Mm-hmm. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
And it's been a year since she left the Order?
I think it's less than that. According to Wikipedia, the end of season 5 was in 19 BBY, so it's in the same year that the Clone Wars ends. Maybe it's been close to a year, right? They don't give exact dates. It's just kind of like all of this happens in this year. So it's less than a year, but we don't know how much of a year it is. Could be 3 months, could be 6 months, could be 9 months.
You happened to crash onto one of the best repair shops on 1313.
Wasn't 1313 the same level that the warehouse was on?
Oh, I think it was.
Because I think she was on 1310, and then Barris was like, oh, it's just a few levels up on 1313 or something like that.
I think so. I think you're right.
Okay.
And I'd be glad to fix your bike. For a price. I just need some tools. But the tools are still gonna cost you. I don't have much in the way of credits. Don't worry. Down here no one does.
Again, total Mary Sue moment. For a price. For a price. For a price. Oh, you don't have any money? Okay.
Also, this stupid, total, non-understanding TCW has of the show versus tell rule. We're being shown that she's well-to-do, and we're being told the opposite.
Yeah, that she... Because it's not even like, she pulls out some credits and she's like, will this do? And then Trace is like, oh, okay, fine. I'll take some, right? But I guess you're a bit down on your luck, right? Like, because I understand it would
like,
still be a Mary Sue thing, but at this, like, either you'd have to have Trace less hype up the, for a price, or it's like, because I think they're partly trying to establish that Trace is just a really nice person, or stupid, really nice or stupid, and or both, either which way.
Given where she's living, I would be more inclined to say she's stupid.
Or maybe idealistic. Either which way.
She's definitely idealistic, but she's idealistic and stupid.
To a fault. Idealistic to a fault. But yeah, it's so dumb is that it's like, she seems to understand, everything's for a price because times are tough down here. And then she's like, oh, but times are tough down here, so don't worry about it. And it's like, okay, something's gotta give here. But yeah, it's just like, you're absolutely right. Ahsoka looks like she's just got money to spend. She even talks like she's got money to spend, like with her comment about buying the bike. And then, yeah, oh, I don't got any money to spend.
Like, if I was Trace and I wasn't stupid, then I'd be like, okay, you're lying. Show me how much you got.
But that would kind of set Trace up immediately as a unlikable character, right? Like, oh, you're lying, right? Like, just right off the bat, like.
Don't take too long. Time is money.
Yeah, because hyping, money. You need money.
Why are you helping me?
Yeah, why are you?
Seemed like the right thing to do. I really need the money.
But she's not paying you!
She's not paying because you're like, oh, it's the right thing to do to let her do this for free. It's so stupid. It's completely contradictory. We're not even 5 minutes in. And it's just like, everything is like contradictory. Their entire opening sequence is just contradiction. Show undermining tell and tell undermining tell, and like everything is just undermining itself.
Yep.
Sounds like you know a thing or two about engines. Good eye.
Trace is acting like she's never run into anybody who knows engines before. She's like, oh, you really know a thing or two, and oh, you've got a good eye, and blah, blah, blah. Like, wow, this person's so smart, and they know engines and things like I do. It's like, you've never run into someone like that before?
That's something more you'd hear from people who live a more privileged lifestyle, because they can just pay someone else to do that sort of thing for them. But the people down there, they have to rely on their own skills. So it's a lot more likely that tons of people that you run into every day are like, of course I know how to do my own
Yeah.
Down here, everything has a price.
They hype it and hype it and hype it and hype it.
This engine isn't going to run without a new sparker. Got one I can buy? The only sparkers I got are right here.
Why would you tell her that? What if she just, tries to steal one?
Trace is so stupid.
Yeah. Just like, oh, sorry, I'm out right now, but I can order you some, right? Like, and then she literally just said, I can't pay for the tools because I don't have a lot of money. And then she's like, well, I need a new sparker, so can I buy one?
Yeah, I know.
So she is lying.
Yeah, she's totally lying.
But at the same time, then, yeah, she's just like, oh, I don't have money
and this
for
whole
you.
thing, she's like, oh, I need to get out of here.
I need to get out of here.
Where? Why? Where
are you going?
Yeah.
What's
what
wrong?
do you gotta do? What's
You've
up?
been hanging out for probably close to a year. And now you're all of a sudden like, I need to get out of here. She could have hopped a ride on any, transit ship going out, gone anywhere. But she, hung around, and then all of a sudden she's, I need to get out of here so I can stay here. Because presumably I'm not going anywhere else, because if I was, I'd have already left. But there's something about you, nice, stupid person, that I just cannot stand. And so I need to leave, right now. Go back to my apartment that I can afford somehow. And just stay there, because obviously I don't have a job. Because I'm not saying I need to get to work. I'm saying I just need to get out of here.
I don't know what I'm doing here.
You crashed here, remember? Did you hit your head? Seriously, what is this dialogue?
It's crap.
Just friendly reminder. Dave Filoni personally wrote all of these episodes. Just like in the finale of season 2 and in our analysis series when we were going over that one with Plo Koon, that Lethal Trackdown. He wrote Lethal Trackdown.
Oh.
We didn't find out until afterwards. But we were sitting there going, what is this dialogue? What is this dialogue? And then in hindsight, it's like, oh, that makes sense. And it shows that as a creator, as a writer, Dave Filoni has not improved at all. If anything, he got worse. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness.
You can leave if you want. Look, you can stay here as long as you like. If you can pay me.
And yeah,
Nothing.
she's like freaking out. Like, please, please stay. Why do you give a crap? You said right at the beginning, you can leave if you want. You're like, no, please stay.
Yeah. Now she's like, you can stay as long as you want if you pay me. Which I know you can't do because you've already said you don't have the money. But like, I'm so sorry that I seemed to offend you.
Honestly,
she shouldn't care. She should be like,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Peace out. See ya.
I would have so much preferred to see this arc with just Rafa instead of Trace. Because Rafa makes so much more sense as a character in the setting.
But Rafa would never bring Ahsoka along. Unless you started it. That Ahsoka, is looking for work. And then Rafa's just like, oh, well, I need a mechanic just in case something on the ship breaks down. She's like, well, I've got that knowledge. I've, done that kind of work before. And so
there's like literally a million ways you could change the story and make it infinitely better. But we got this trash instead. She freaking fixes her bike for her.
No sense in keeping you here if you're gonna be miserable.
Then why didn't you just send her off with her crappy bike that she can't pay you?
Assuming Ahsoka was correct, that the bike would not run without a starter, and assuming Trace was telling the truth that the only starters she had were in her ship.
Did she? Oh my goodness.
How does the ship run later? Or do they take the starter back out of the bike and put it back in the ship off screen? It's just thin air.
What is this?
This is garbage.
Yeah.
And it's Mary Sue treatment to the max. I don't want you to be like miserable, so I'm just gonna do this for you for free. Because, I don't want to see Mary Sue sad.
Poor Will Mary Sue.
Where I come from, it's very different from here.
No, it doesn't, because everyone up there doted on you, and everyone down here seems to dote on you, so no difference.
Yeah, I don't get what... Oh, you're being really nice to me. No one's ever been like that before. Like, the life I used to lead was totally different. It's like...
This would be so much more meaningful if we actually saw Ahsoka struggling during the previous months in her time in the underworld. And then Trace shows up and starts being nice to her. Then it would actually give her a reason to be like, holy crap, this person is being nice to me. Like,
I want to stick around here.
Are they trying to pull something on me? Or like, is this genuine? Like, this is amazing. But nope, garbage.
I think the reason she says, the way you're treating me so nicely is so different than where I come from, is so that Trace can ask, where do you come from?
So, where do you come from anyway?
So that she can then answer.
Dialogue is so bad.
You used to live in the upper levels of Coruscant. Up there where the air is clear, huh?
And they've got tons of money. So why are you not like, so money?
Give me the money.
Maybe like wire someone up, one of your old friends? Like, sure you can pay for this. Or like, did you scam everybody up there and so everyone hates you and then you got caught and then you ran down here and I really shouldn't be helping you. And...
That's essentially what happened.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness.
You're probably better off down here.
What?
The air is clear. Everything comes with a price. Everyone's down on their luck here. So I got, I'm just gonna help you to be nice. But you're better off down here.
I'm sure you have your problems up there with the Jedi running around, starting wars, policing everything.
Oh my goodness. Again, this show is trying to blame the Jedi for the war.
Yeah, because this makes no sense. If you live in the Republic, you'd think Republic propaganda would be all that you hear. Why would the Republic propaganda be like, yeah, the Jedi started the war, what can we say? They'd be like, no, we're the Republic, we're just fighting to defend ourselves, and the good Jedi are helping us, and
exactly.
right? why would the capital of the
policing
Republic...
everything?
Where...
Since when are they policing everything? They can barely spend time to go down into the lower levels. That's why you should be pissed at them. That's part of their job, and they're not doing it.
We've been shown...
That's BS.
We've been shown that the lower levels have their own, like, police. That's who, like,
too.
Ahsoka was running away from at the beginning of To Catch a Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, but now it's like, oh, you know, the Jedi are policing it. Well, she's kind of talking about up there, right? But I'm assuming they have, you know, the same police force, right? Like, yeah, it's not the Jedi policing everything. It's the Senate. It's the Republic. It's the clones. It's the, like... Because, like, I feel like the clones wouldn't be the police force, right? That would be separate. But still, the Senate would control that police force. And, oh my goodness. It's
so
just...
stupid.
Yeah, it's just more crap dialogue that doesn't make any sense. It's just like, I'm going to say something that isn't true so that, you know, about where I used to come from, so that you can ask me where I used to come from. And then I'll say that I lived on the upper levels, and you're just gonna not pay any attention to that despite you've been hyping up money. You're gonna instead say, oh, you're probably better off down here because the Jedi are just bad.
The Jedi didn't start the war. They're trying to stop it.
Right after we have Trace being like, Jedi bad, then Ahsoka's like, well, the Jedi didn't start the war, they're trying to stop it. And it's kind of like, so many people claim, oh, she left the Jedi because the whole thing with Barriss really rattled her, and she was like questioning, you know, the whole, like, oh, I was always a soldier and not, you know, a peacekeeper and stuff like that, right? Like, they claim all of these things as the reasons behind her leaving, completely ignoring what she actually said to be her reason. And then, yeah, here you have it. It's like, she just wasn't questioning the Jedi. She's still supporting them. She's still like, no, the Jedi are doing the right thing. Like, no questions at all. And again, why is Trace picking on the Jedi rather than the Republic? She has faith in the Republic. Sort of. I don't know. Maybe that's a bit of a stretch. I don't know if I should say that. But like...
Well, at least Rafa does, because Rafa's the one who makes the comment about
the
how
Republic
the Republic would shut down any slave trade going on.
I would
right?
assume that Trace would have similar views to Rafa.
Yeah, I think so. But, so yeah, like, obviously they have faith in the Republic.
So then why would she say, oh yeah, you know, the good Republic are just letting the Jedi start the war and keep it going? Because he's like, sure, they're trying to stop it.
Sure they are.
So it's like she's accusing the Jedi of, like, warmongering, right? Which, again, goes back to the season 5 finale. Leto was like, you know, they've become warmongers. But it's like, why are they blaming everything on the Jedi rather than the Republic? The Republic makes the decisions. Mm-hmm. The Senate is controlling the war and making the choices about whether, you know, to put funding in and, you know, everything like that, and buy more troops. Like, all of those episodes with Padme, like, we see it's the Republic, it's the Senate, it's like they have control, and the Jedi are just like, you know, oh, the Senate told us to go here, the Senate told us to go there. But then you have these characters who are just like, oh, the Jedi so bad, they're warmongering. They're the ones who started it, and they're keeping it going on purpose, but not the Republic. But the Republic is letting them do that? But we're just gonna ignore that contradiction is going on?
And, like, they're all mad because Luminara was there when their parents died. Mm-hmm. And she was
further kind of throwing Luminara under the bus because...
Very uncool. She was kind of dismissive, or at least they took it as dismissive of the whole thing. But, like, how does that equate to Jedi warmongers? And, like, the fact that they don't really seem to blame Cad Bane or Zero at all. Like, what the hell?
They were chasing this criminal, you know,
but we're gonna ignore that.
But they're so bad because they were chasing the criminal and, you know, collateral damage occurred and... You know, they actually came to see that we were okay while the criminal escaped and laughed his head off. But, you know, screw them. They're just such bad people.
Doesn't make any sense.
It's literally like if like there's like, you know, a car chase, high-speed car chase on the highway, and the person trying to escape the police purposely hits someone to send them spinning out of control, huge crash, people die, the police stop and try to help, and someone's like, police bad! Because they chased criminals!
What is this logic? What is it?
This is Filoni logic, because
yes.
Filoni wrote this.
They've forgotten all about us. What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? You've seen it!
It's not safe down here. Or anywhere on Coruscant.
You're better off down here. It's not safe down here, or anywhere on Coruscant.
The contradictions.
Like,
So
they just
many.
write, they don't read back what they wrote!
We'll get away from the Jedi. This war. All of it.
How far are you gonna go?
You'd have to go, like, to the unknown regions. It is a galactic war,
Galactic
you know?
war!
Your sister said she was paying me today. Where is she?
Don't do anything. Got it?
No, she doesn't got it.
Rafa said she was coming to see you.
Since she's not here, I guess you're gonna have to pay me instead.
Does that make any sense?
That makes 0 sense. He's emphasizing me instead of your.
Whoever they got to voice these lines is not doing so hot.
Keep in mind, the director knows what it's supposed to be.
Filoni is just crap at everything he does.
This makes no sense. But yeah, it's like, oh, she was coming to see you, to pay you. Oh, well, then you're gonna have to pay me instead. What is this? It doesn't make sense either way. Because it's like, she was coming to pay you. Like, oh, you've probably missed each other. Maybe you should just go and she'll be waiting for you.
Oh, well,
and then,
she's not here, so
Yes, you're gonna
better
have to pay.
me.
Yeah. And so
You know what
it's...
this reminds me of? The Tales of the Jedi episode 6. The dialogue with the Inquisitor. Where the guy's like, she's gone, but she'll be back. Well, she's not here! There's a very definite trend in Filoni's works.
Stupid people.
Yep, stupid.
Stupid.
Lots of stupid.
Stupid people are
Stupid
the
everything.
Because it doesn't make sense for him to demand payment from her because Rafa's not there, because she just said Rafa's coming to pay you. And it doesn't make sense because he emphasizes the wrong word. So it's just, oh my god.
I'd back off if I were you.
Don't do anything. I'd back off if I were you.
Where's my money?
Right here!
Rafa has it. That's all she has to say. Rafa has it. She's on her way to pay you. And then he's gotta either go back himself and, you know, maybe leave his goonies there and be like, hey, I'll contact you. And if she's not, you know, waiting for me, then you take care of these two, send Rafa a message. Or he's got to send one of them back and wait there himself until his goonie says, oh, she's not here. And then he gets his other goonie to beat them up. Like, but instead she immediately is just like, oh, never mind, I got your money. Except I'm going to fight you. Ha 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 ha. I'll give them this. Like, I would not expect her to be a good fighter, and, like, they do a good job of kind of showing that. You can throw a few punches or kicks, you know, hit them with something, but you're not gonna be able to beat them, right?
Yeah.
Like, so, like, that part of the fight, I think, was well choreographed.
On second thought, some help would be great.
And then, yeah, Ahsoka was literally just sitting there like, how you doing? Until Trace asked for help. Now it's total showboating. Trace is not even trying anymore. I mean, she's been a little beat up, but, like, she's literally just sitting there. Oh, I'm in awe.
Tell Rafa This is far from over.
She's waiting for you. At least that's the story I started with.
Where did you learn to fight like that?
And then again, I'm sure people in the lower level, like, I'm sure those guys aren't trained, but like, I would assume she's seen some good fights. Yeah, no, maybe not that good though.
Yeah.
There was definitely professional training there. So, okay, you know what? I'll let that one slide.
Also the fact that she was like defying gravity or some bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of
Like,
those
literally
things.
that one pose she does on the box. Chuck physics out the window, I guess.
It's one of those things. Again, in a vacuum, I would say that the fight with, between Ahsoka and those guys was cool. In a vacuum. If she was if a character that was well done and thus we liked her.
Well, I mean,
But-
I'm sure we can think of some examples of female characters who kind of had like showboaty scenes, but they were well written, so we loved it.
Yeah. Katara is... I don't know.
yeah,
I've had
Katara.
Avatar on the brain a lot recently, so that's, one that comes, like... But
Oh,
obviously...
Alita too. But I don't think you've seen Alita Battle Angel.
I at least saw part of it. I'm pretty sure I saw the whole thing.
Beatrix Kiddo from Kill Bill. Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely her.
You
Because, like, at the end of the first film, she literally takes on 80 freaking guys by herself, and it's so badass.
I haven't seen Kill Bill.
But, like, yeah, there's tons more examples. We're not gonna spend an hour trying to think of them all, because that's not the point of this video. But, yeah.
The point is, on its own, it's not a bad fight. It comes down to, it's just more, oh, look, Ahsoka's so amazing. And so it's just, so disappointing.
Nope.
What is she doing here? Looking for stuff that people left behind? When I first saw this scene, I thought she was just at the laundromat and she was, just seeing if people left stuff behind. But then it turns out, no, this is her laundromat. And yeah, I guess she just, oh, what if somebody left behind?
Yeah, because it's established that it's their parents, right? So
Yeah.
they would have inherited it when they died.
But,
so yeah, it's theirs. So why are you...
That's the other thing, right? It's like, obviously, the laundromat is profitable enough that they can afford this warehouse, she can afford parts for her ship, stuff like that, right? Like, they have enough coming in, but then Raph is like, oh, we gotta do these, underhanded deals, like... Maybe that it's not doing as well as it used to, or maybe she was spending more than they were earning. I don't know. I mean, it's not completely unbelievable. It's just, yeah.
What is Ahsoka smiling about?
What is Rafa smiling about? Or, sorry, Trace.
Does that belong to you? Not yet.
Okay, who puts a hat in a laundry machine like that?
Nobody.
I mean, like, there are hats you can wash, but that looked like a stiff, like,
Yeah,
not like something you would put in a washing machine.
I got a big job coming through that'll make everything good for us. Is it legitimate this time?
But then again, Trace is like this beacon of idealism. How?
We can't count on anyone, so we count on ourselves.
What does that have to do with legitimacy?
Crap dialogue.
Okay.
Who is this interesting creature?
You live on Coruscant. It's pretty, like, species diverse.
Diverse, yeah.
And when you see a new species, you're like, ooh, who's this interesting creature?
Okay.
Interesting creature. Okay. Yep, that's what we're going for.
Where exactly are you from?
I'm from Topside. Your sister's been helping me out.
How much is she charging you?
Not enough to pay your debt.
What the hell is with your attitude?
Rafa kind of starts out really standoffish. The person just kind of like walked in with Trace, and she immediately is like, who is this person and what are they doing with Trace? But yeah, the fact that Ahsoka just like, I'm just gonna insult you. I mean, then again, as I just pointed out, Rafa started off insulting her, right? Like, Rafa's supposed to be like smooth talking people person. But the very first sentence out of her mouth is insulting. So then that immediately puts Ahsoka on and then she returns the insult. It's like, why would either of them be acting like this?
Pintu came by to get paid. You weren't there. You plan on paying him?
I am.
You could have at least given me a heads up that you weren't gonna pay him.
You're right. Won't happen again.
Again, she's like, oh, I am going to pay him. And then she's like, you know, you could have at least told me you weren't going to pay him. You're right, I'm sorry. Admitting that she's not going to pay him?
Okay, more contradictions.
How can I help you, my friend?
I've got 3 droids that need to be built.
Why didn't she say to him, oh, who is this interesting creature?
He walks into a laundromat, and then someone's like, hey, how can I help you? And he immediately is like, this is like back alley deal that I want done. What if it was just a laundromat? What if she was just a worker for, you know, the front of the laundromat? Like it's a running laundromat, and, you know, she's just an employee there. Maybe she doesn't know. Like, why do you just hop straight into...
My associate does assembly in the back. Who's your associate?
My, business partner. He said you build droids better than anybody.
So, Trace, feel like building some droids?
What? Okay. So this guy's business partner tells him that Rafa builds droids better than anyone. Trace is the mechanic, but somehow she doesn't know that she's the one who's going to be building these droids if it's happened before. What is this dialogue?
It's been a while since I built a droid.
Just make sure you affix the restraining bolt to that pile of moving parts before you punch the power cycle.
Trace should freaking know that.
She does! She's like, I've got one right here.
Got one right here.
So Ahsoka's just, oh my gosh, so condescending.
She did just say it's been a while since I built a droid. But again, the person's like, oh, you're the best droid builder out here.
I've had my fair share of run-ins with droids. The majority are fine, but some are just cross-wired from the start.
Is she referring to the Goldie arc? Because when I first heard that, I thought she meant, you know, I have fought droids all the time.
Yeah, but then she says the majority are fine.
Yeah, that doesn't...
Because, yeah, like, the majority of droids she'd run into would be the ones she's fighting.
Yeah.
So, like, what?
But
And,
I guess she's kind
the
so
separatist droids aren't cross-wired. They're doing exactly what they were programmed to do.
so she's that's probably
like,
on me.
The only thing that makes
like,
sense would be that, yeah, she's referring to R3.
Yeah.
So weird. But, like, that was the one instance we ever saw.
But
And even then,
again,
like,
he wasn't cross-wired.
Exactly.
He
He
was
was doing what he was programmed to do. Like,
Because
this dialogue!
You seem to know a lot about everything.
Because she's a Mary Sue.
I still don't understand people.
I don't understand people? What?
wait a minute.
You act the exact opposite.
I was just gonna
Like, you know everything all the time about everyone and everything.
Because our reaction to the finale of season 5 just released, and that conversation with Anakin, and she seems to imply that she kind of understands, because he says, I understand more than anyone, you know, wanting to leave the Jedi, and she's like, I know. So she seems to imply that she understands, like, maybe there's something going on between them and Padme, or, you know, she just seems to, like, be like, oh yeah, no, I understand, like, you don't have to say it, and I just know. And then, so it's like, yes, they spent a lot of time together, but yeah, if you don't understand people, then you wouldn't have that kind of, like, intuition, even if it was someone that, like, you knew.
Even all the way back in season 2, when she's like immediately suspicious of Ione.
Right.
For no freaking reason.
And
And then the
Ventress,
way
she's
talks
just
about
like,
Tarkin.
Trust-
Like, oh, he's a terrible, ungrateful person.
she trusts Ventress and she trusts Bo-Katan off the bat.
So
Basically, Trace is like the
yes,
first and only person that she's not immediately like, yes, my Mary Sue omniscience says that you fall into this category of person, and thus this is how I will behave towards you.
Even lines like, oh, I know Grievous.
Yeah. This is a perfect example of my Mary Sue doesn't have flaws. Shoot. Okay. I'll have my Mary Sue say that she has a flaw. Done.
Wayne.
Good job, Filoni. Good job.
There are good people and bad people, and some are just crosswired like this binary load lifter.
Who falls under crosswired? She referring to neurodivergent people?
I should hope not.
I should hope not too, but she makes 3 categories of people. And I think Ahsoka was kind of saying that, you know, the bad droids were crosswired, right? So she had 2 categories. You know, you have good droids and you have crosswired droids. You bad droids. And then she says, well, there's 3 kinds of people. Good, bad, and crosswired.
Okay, that is definitely sus.
Yeah. I don't know, but sus. That's a good word for it.
And then the fact that Trace calls the load lifter crosswired.
When she first said, because like I thought they were just trying to fix them. So she's saying, oh, they are crosswired, and we're gonna fix that.
But then, this doesn't add up either, because Rafa said they were going to build droids. But now they have these already built droids.
Right, and they're just working on them. Vague work stuff.
Type 2 load lifters were a fraud. They were repurposed demolition droids prone to violence.
This is something that sounds like it would be handled by local law enforcement. So then it's like, oh, okay, so the Jedi were involved in that, so they are doing policing work? Rather than, you know, focusing on the galactic war efforts. But then again, you know, they did go after Cad Bane, and he was, you know, the criminals are kind of like a new, like, independent party in the conflict. But at the same time, I think that the only reason that they were after Cad Bane was because in order to get Zero released, he'd held the Senate hostage.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the only reason they were after Cad Bane in that scenario. The rest of the time, it's like, yeah, the huts and all that going on over there is not our business, right? The only other time I think they get involved is when Obi-Wan goes undercover. But again, it's because there was a plot against the Chancellor of the Republic. So how does she know this detailed information about these droids?
Good thing we put the restraining bolts on.
Trace!
Why did that one just turn on?
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Why did the other one turn on?
You said demolition droid, right?
Yeah.
Why would Ahsoka know that, but Rafa wouldn't? Right? Like, they're around the same age. So it must have been something that happened, you know, in recent years. Because if Ahsoka was really young when it happened, I doubt she would remember or even know about it, because she'd just be a youngling training. She wouldn't know about this kind of stuff.
I got the impression that she was closer in age to Trace and Rafa was older.
Well, I guess my point is, it's not like Rafa's like 10 years older. She, you know, maybe 2 or 3 years older? 5 at the most.
Yeah, that's what I'd say.
I guess my point is that there's not a huge age gap there. Like, if Ahsoka knows about this, like if it was so big that the Jedi got involved in it, how would Rafa not know? Especially if she's making her business sketchy business. Maybe I just don't know how sketchy business people can conduct their business. And then, yeah, Ahsoka's like, oh, they're prone to violence, I guess.
Literally all the droid does is, like, run around a bunch.
Yeah. She said they were demolition droids. And then they were repurposed as load lifters, right? And that was the scam, that they took these demolition droids and said, oh, they're load lifters. And so, as demolition droids, yeah, they're prone to destroy. So I guess the difference is that these ones, instead of focusing their demolition, they just would go crazy, and that's why they labeled it as prone to violence rather than rogue demolition droids. Because prone to violence implies, you know, like violence against people, like what it was gonna do to Ahsoka. But yeah, now it's just running around, ooh, smashy the car, and then I'm gonna run away again, instead of smashing everything else. And I've already run past tons of stuff I could smash, and the most I did was kick some boxes. Like, it looks more like a toddler throwing a tantrum than a dangerous droid.
Yep.
The guy said, oh, I want you to build some droids for me. So then did Rafa buy these droids to sell to him and say, oh, we built them?
But then why did she ask Trace, ready to build some droids?
Yeah. Where did the droids come from? Because, like, the first time I watched this, I thought the customer gave her these droids and she was just supposed to fix them. But then, yeah, now that I'm watching it, you know, a little more closely, it's kind of like, no, he asked her to build them droids. And then she has these droids out of nowhere that are pre-built, but Trace is going to do some vague work on them.
Literally all we saw them do was put the restraining bolts on.
Yeah.
Some of them. It's not adding up. Not at all.
I guess Rafa was like, oh, good deal on these cheap droids. Like, yeah, who's the person who had them previously? Why did they take the restraining bolts off? Right? Did they know? And they were just like, oh yes, well, these restraining bolts are super expensive, so you're gonna have to get your own. I'm taking mine back, but here, have these droids.
You think the droids wouldn't be cheap either, because
Yeah.
they're literally specifically demolition droids that are being passed off as load lifters. So, because droid fighting is a thing.
Right.
So, like, you'd think these kind of droids would be perfect for that. So people in that line of business would really want to get their hands on them, I'd bet.
But
so why?
I mean, yeah, as long as you had a
make
restraining
sense for
bolt,
them to be cheap.
Doesn't make sense for them to not come with restraining bolts, because if the previous owners knew what they were, especially if they just randomly turn on by themselves somehow, like.
And yeah, it jumps over them instead of smashing them. Yeah. This thing doesn't seem dangerous all that much.
Oh, I'm just gonna knock over some garbage cans. Ooh, violence.
Oh no.
Come on!
And then, yeah, Ahsoka stands here doing nothing when she would be much more able to do this kind of thing, given how acrobatic she is, as we saw at the beginning of this episode.
Like, she doesn't even try to help with the Force.
Yeah.
Like, giving
And then again, they have this moment where it's like, oh no, the kid is in danger because this droid is prone to violence.
We saw that from all the people it attacked. Oh wait, it didn't attack any people. It literally went out of its way to dodge people.
They're like trying to like have it one way, but it's actually another way, and they're trying to have both.
Oh, no.
That would have been a perfect moment for Ahsoka to use the Force. And then they have the fanfare playing in the background.
Like literally the classic Star Wars theme. This is such garbage.
Trace?
And then this moment, perfectly showcases why her choosing to use the Force in this way was the worst possible way to do it, because Trace could have just fallen off the droid.
I am not going to dismantle those droids.
Yeah, now she's talking about dismantling them.
You were supposed
to build them! See, this is probably why I got confused. Because first it's like, oh, I need you to build me droids, but then, like, because I've mentioned this before, usually you don't remember, like, the middle stuff. You remember the beginning, you remember the end, and since Rafa's deal was kind of, like, after the initial setup, because that whole bit was, like, Trace and everything, like, so you remember that, and then you remember the end here, unless she's again, if she bought them to give them pretending she built them, then if the person had any knowledge of droids whatsoever, they'd be like, hey, these are like built droids. You did not build these droids. And like, he doesn't give her any specifications or anything. He's just like, I just want some droids. You know how many different kinds of droids there are? And that's one of the things that I can understand having that happen off screen. But like, he leaves. And he doesn't say, hey, I'll have my person contact you with the details, right? So it obviously didn't happen off screen, right? Like, you can have that stuff happen off screen, but you have to imply that it happened off screen. But it's just like, I need you to build me droids. Okay, bye.
They could hurt someone.
Who? They ran away from everybody. There was that one moment where it smashed the empty speeder,
Yep.
and then threw the thing, and it happened to hit somebody else's speeder, but they were perfectly fine. But yeah, that's the only way they would hurt somebody is by accident.
One tore apart the sector.
And then yeah, the fact that like her droid tore up the sector and there's no repercussions. How many times have we seen like the little droid things help the police force because they like monitor, and then they'll like call the police, oh, we have this, problem going on here, and...
Why is this a discussion? We all know
that you're new here.
Yeah, you're not in charge. Why are you acting like you're in charge?
Because she has the moral high ground.
They could hurt someone.
Honestly, not my problem. I'll do the right thing.
Honestly, not my problem. I'll do the right thing.
This frigging dialogue.
Rafa, just be smart.
It would make so much more sense if Rafa said, don't worry, I'm gonna do the smart thing. And then Trace was like, no, do the right thing.
Yeah.
Instead, she's like, I'm gonna do the right thing, and Trace is like, just be smart.
Filoni doesn't understand his own characters.
Do you ever get a say with Rafa?
Okay, you hardly know these people. Why are you trying to, like, drive a wedge in between them? Right?
It's
like
the same crap that she did with, Steela and Saw.
Yeah. It's like, oh, there's my rival. Okay, I have to undermine them to everybody else.
No, because Steela got elected as leader, and then Saw stormed off, and then Steela was gonna go after him, and so was like, no. Why are you going after him? Why do you care?
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's just kind of like, I don't like Rafa. Why do you like Rafa? Like,
You gave them back.
You said be smart. Look, they weren't mine to keep.
so they gave them to her. What were they supposed to do? Just put restraining bolts on them? Is that building a droid? See, that's why I think the crosswire thing was like, they were supposed to uncrosswire them. But they just put the restraining bolts on, and then the whole kerfuffle happens, and they're like, okay, we're done. Right? Like, they didn't do any work to them other than put restraining bolts on them. And, oh my goodness. You're telling me that Twi'lek and his associates couldn't put a bolt on? Right? Because you literally just put it on. You don't have to weld it on. You just put it. It's like magnetically attached or something. That's why there's, what if they fall off?
Did you put the bolt on all three?
Yeah, but what if one comes off?
Rafa.
You told me to be smart, not to do the right thing. I said I would do the right thing. But when I say I'll do the right thing, I mean I'll do the right thing by us. Because that's our whole mantra, that we look out for ourselves because no one else will. And you agreed because you're like, just be smart. And now you're all like, oh, Rafa, could you? And to me, that sounds like Ahsoka is poisoning Trace against Rafa.
Yeah.
Here's enough to buy new tools. That makes it worth it, right?
And then she kind of comes off as abusive there. Oh yeah, no, I did this bad thing, but here's some gifts. Just you know.
You're not sticking around?
And yeah, the Trace says, oh, you're not sticking around? Well, why would I stick around? Are you gonna give me a job? Can you pay me?
Now let's get that speeder working.
It was already working. Ta-da! I made this for making reaction videos. So that we've got a little thing. And I made it with, obviously, a cereal box and 10-year-old paint, which it's really hard to work with, and dollar store brushes, which are equally terrible. But hey, it turned out really nice. I tried using paint with this, and then I had to fix it with marker, so then I just used marker for that. This I had to do paint for, though, again. Either which way, do all the things on the box that it says, because I worked really hard on this. So at the very least, give us a thumbs up for my hard work. And Patreon, it's always a great option for you to help us keep doing stuff like this. Okay, bye!